Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA and NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball, fights, and even next season's NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code. That's Bleav, B-L-E-A-V, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm here with our guy, legendary 76ers point guard, Eric Snow, and my brother, Teja Dash. Gentlemen, how we doing? 2 straight dubs?
Doing great. Halfway there.
Yep. And quite honestly, if we do end up winning the series, knock on wood, I'm going to say, Eric, you've had, when you made that call that, we could still win in 6 games, win 4 straight, I was like, Eric was, he had some conviction when he said that. Like, every time you make a call, you're so passionate about it. I'm like, you know what? I think Eric's right, man. So I will never doubt you ever again if that does end up happening. That comes to fruition.
Well, I'm gonna stick with it. I made the call. I gotta stick with it.
Marcus bet his mortgage on us winning in 6, Eric.
That's a little different, though. We put money.
I did not do that, but I did.
No, I'm kidding.
I put a couple bucks on it before the series. It was like plus 300 for us to win the series. Not a specific game, but yeah, if I had done it in 6, I think that would have been a lot of money actually.
I've never bet on sports before.
Okay, well,
you guys got to teach me how to do that.
We got you. But before we get to the weekend of all the games, and obviously there's a lot to talk about on that. There's been kind of a little beef brewing between kind of the old generation and the new generation. So Shaq had said I think last week that Gobert wouldn't be able to guard him, and then Gobert kind of fired back at him saying that he would lock Shaq down, and that's kind of getting a lot of people's input. Everyone's kind of like teaming up against Gobert, like dogging Gobert on this whole thing. Eric, I want to get your takeaway on this whole thing. You think Gobert would lock Shaq up?
First off, I think Gobert is very excited to respond back because he knows he never has to guard Shaq. So that's one thing. I mean, why not? Why not shoot back? But I was there personally in 2001 when the best defensive center that I played with, who's in the Hall of Fame, one of the best shot blockers to ever play. Defended him, and I can't see Gobert's doing any better than Deke.
The Kemba's a pretty good player comp for Gobert too, right? Like a modern day Gobert, I'd say. Yeah,
I would say they're more comparable than Gobert and Shaq.
Yeah.
And I would say that Shaq is just a guy that no one really was like, I'm going to lock him down. Like, I've never heard that. I've never heard a guy say that. It was probably we as a team are we trapping them, and we're going to try. But I've never heard a guy say I'm going to. So I think some people took it a little too serious. What Gobert was saying, because I don't think it's not really think. I know it's not likely that he can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or he would have been able to do that.
That's what a lot of people are saying. They don't even think he believes that he's just saying it.
Yeah. I mean, why not say it? I mean, it's not going to ever happen. So why not? Why not, stand up to someone that's you feel that's picking on you?
Not to dive too deep, but do you think when they play would be a factor? Because I think Shaq would pick up a lot more offensive fouls now in today's world, today's game.
No, it wouldn't, because Shaq's the best part of, and I believe I've said this on a previous show, the best part of Shaq's offense was him to post, throw it out, and repost. And there was no way that Gobert with his size would be able to stop that. You can't front him. So that part of it is where I think he would get hurt. So Shaq wouldn't have to necessarily charge him or go through him, because I don't think Gobert could stop him from getting his position. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think there was anything that he could do
He gets so deep on him.
Yes, he would get so deep that he would just turn and dunk it. So
yeah,
I think that would be more of, and then he could try to front him, but he would just push him up the lane and just throw it over top. So or they reseal and throw it from the corner. It's just different things that you can do. I just know from no matter when you play, if Shaq was, of course you can look at Shaq at the end of his career, but at the end of his career, he could still score. But I just think that, from that standpoint, it's just the size difference and the power that Shaq had. Like, it's, you just ask guys that they defended him. I mean, it's guys that defended Shaq that kind of played after Shaq, that played against other guys. Like, that's just not anything that guys would ever say is, hey, I'm going to lock him up. Like, I've never heard that about him.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, they never wanted to give Shaq extra incentive to whoop their ass either. That's why they were like,
yeah. So that's why a guy can say it now that's never going to play against Shaq. So
yeah, exactly. It's like talking shit to the guy once you have like a barricade of people in between you. Then you got the guy mouthing off in the background and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
He knows no one's going to get to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Gobert kind of stops this whole thing just because, Shaq has a big platform. So he can continue to skewer Gobert if it continues with this whole bantering back and forth. And so far,
Shaq's not going to stop.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not going to stop.
Shaq can get real petty. He's going to remember this for the next 10 years, Gobert. Every time he sees Gobert get dunked on, they're going to play a highlight and be like, yeah, he can guard me. He can guard me, huh? He can guard me? Okay.
Every time something happens.
All right. So going to the Sixers, so going to this weekend after, Embiid came back and Eric made the call that with or without Embiid, we were going to win game 3. We did, and then we ended up winning game 4. So it's 2-2 now. So yeah, we took down the Heat Friday night, winning 99-79. It was the lowest scoring playoff game from the Heat since 2013 when they scored 77 against the Spurs. And ironically, that's another game where Danny Green had 7 threes. So he had 7 threes in both those games, which you could say Danny Green's the Heat killer. And then again, Sunday night, where we tied the series up. So yeah, it's 2-2 now. We won 116-108 in that game. So yeah, in these two games, as I mentioned, we saw vintage Danny Green, and then we saw on Sunday we saw vintage James Harden. It was a nice Mother's Day victory for the fellas. But what did you guys see Friday and Sunday night from the Sixers?
Well, I mean, previously, after the first 2 games, the one thing that I spoke about is I thought that the Heat played better, and I thought they played harder. Those are the 2 things that really stuck out to me. Yes, they defended well, they extended their defense, but I think going into games 3 and 4, that wasn't the case. I think that they made runs or they did play a different scenario, but I thought we played harder. I thought we played better, and I thought we defended better. Even Thibault, guys that I thought wasn't really defending as well. We, from a standpoint of getting things done in order to win the basketball game, I thought we were better at that. We kind of took them out of some sets. They had, Jimmy went off and other guys went off, but we were able to withstand that and win 2 games. And I didn't think, even though Joel's presence is great for us and it helps us a great deal and opens a lot of things up, I don't think he was your normal Joel. I thought he was played well and help us win, but I don't think he was as dominant as we've seen him play leading up to this point. So hopefully, now that he's kind of played a couple of games, that's what we'll see going forward. But I think it was the effort. I think it was the defense, and it was the confidence that continued to grow once we kind of won a game or once we kind of had some rhythm back at home.
Teja?
I think they look comfortable playing together. Like Harden said, they're still 2 months in, but you can see getting better by the game. That's also 3 games in a row. I'm not counting the 2 without Embiid, but the last 3 games of that team playing together with Embiid, they played like desperate ball. The game 6 in Toronto and then these 2. So right now that's 3 games in a row that they played that they feel like they have to win and must win games, and hopefully keep carrying it on over. They're playing with urgency, and they're playing decisive. Like the way Harden played last game is just keep playing. I don't know about taking close to 20 shots a game. I don't know if he's going to shoot that well, but he was due for a good shooting game. And Danny Green, man, I dogged him so hard on our last show.
I told you we average out.
I dogged him so hard. I still don't know about the 10 million, but great game. And he doesn't have to even do that. I mean, that's the beauty of the build of this team. You have,
but he needed that to average out though.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah. Now just give us like 2 a game. Give us like 2 of 5. Like I don't need 6 of 8, or don't have to even do that. Just 2 of 5. Go back giving us like 6 points. As long as the top 4 guys, we're very top heavy, but as long as the other guys can give us, 4 to 6 points each, and then the other guys just do their job and give us that 17 to 22 a game, we'll score.
The one thing I know, and one thing I've noticed, and I believe in, it's one thing about, there's a difference between making threes and making timely threes. Danny has historically made timely threes.
Yeah. Yep.
Where the team needs it. They're on a run, or we on a run, and he'll knock that shot down. So for Danny, it's more, yes, we need you to make shots, but we need you to make those shots, those timely threes, the big, where they're doubling and just leaving you wide open, to break that run, to spark a run. That's where I think, because he plays so many crucial minutes. He's usually in winning time. He's usually in at the end of the game. So that one shot that kind of breaks it's almost like it breaks the spirit of the other team, are those timely shots that what I think that kind of mean more. And that's what you talk about, hit those two or three threes. That's what we mean. Like, it's, you make a couple in the first quarter and you don't make them in the fourth. What are we going to remember?
Yeah, exactly. And then you knew he was feeling good when he came on the ball with the ball in his hands on the court.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, he's feeling it, dude. That is not a Danny Green shot. Like, it's not something he doesn't like practice probably, but it was there and it was open and he feels good. Take it. I mean, he deserved it.
Yeah. He usually takes transitions threes if he's wide open. He very rarely takes them when he's contested.
Yeah, but he is he sounds like a heat killer. Let's call him the Cooler. How about that? A little nickname for Danny against the Heat. Nice. And Harden, very timely. They weren't just threes that we were in a blowout that he was just piling on. Heat were making runs every time, and we needed an answer back. And and they actually, I liked Miami's defense against Embiid in that fourth quarter. Adebayo was doing a really good job not letting us get him the ball. And we were spending 10, 15 seconds of the shot clock trying to kind of position to get him the ball, and it wasn't working. And Harden was like, all right, well, here we go. And just launched him and hit him. I mean, incredibly timely shots. So, yeah.
And that's where I think with Joel, that part of him not being, like missing time, him getting the rhythm, because it was a lot of times that he had smaller guys on him. He's still trying to go 15, 17 feet out just to catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas sometimes you almost got to go deeper in the post if you got a matchup to sacrifice. That's a sacrifice, because the first thing they're going to do is put 2 people on you. So that automatically, just by you going down there, opens up the offense and opens up shots for us by doing that. But that also takes a little more effort to go down there. So that's why I think the more he kind of gets his legs back, the more he can do those things. And even without the basketball, open up shots for us.
And Doc even said in game that he felt, the reporter said this. I didn't hear Doc say it, but Doc said that he felt like we were trying to get him the ball so hard, such a hard effort on it, that it took us out of the playing style that we had that was working. Actually, it was a cohesive unit, but we kind of would stop it to be like, okay, now we really need to get Joel the ball. And then we'd spend 10, like we said, 10, 15 seconds trying to get him the ball. And it would just take us out of a rhythm. And then you force yourself.
He was getting it away from the basket. It wasn't like he was getting it deep. Now I could see spending that time if he's getting that ball 1 foot in the paint, but not 17 feet out. Yeah. Taking all that time.
Yeah, there was something, I think it was Spoelstra's post game, where he said he liked the defense they had towards the end of the game. And he said and it makes me wonder if they're going to replicate that tonight. But he was saying, they were making their threes, and he goes, if you look at the last few threes they had in the game, it was the shot clock had gone down a 3-2, and then we were popping a 3 and making it.
Yep.
Do you see them kind of replicating what they were doing at the end of the game there, or is that just more situationally? You can't really start out going that way.
Well, I think that if they feel like what they did defensively was encouraging and they feel it was a good setup, yes, they'll maintain it. They'll address closeouts, maybe anticipating the pass or anticipating guys passing the basketball a little more stunning and faking and getting back out to the shooters. So they'll make adjustments like that. But I think for the most part, they're going to still put the attention on Joel and James. That's what they're going to do. That's their game plan, and I don't see that changing at all. I just think that they'll put a point of emphasis on getting out to shooters, especially once we've made a few shots from behind the line.
Yeah, on one last question, as far as what the Heat were doing this in the fourth quarter, they were doing something where it was getting Butler and Embiid guarding Butler in the fourth quarter, and Butler was actually having a pretty good time scoring on Embiid down to kind of in the mid-range area. What were they doing to try to get that matchup? Because it was kind of a small ball lineup in there at the time when they were getting Embiid.
Kind of twofold. One, you know, Jimmy. The one thing about Jimmy is Jimmy's very good at drawing fouls. Two, it makes Joel has to extend his defense and come up and defend. So now you're getting him. The one thing that when I came into the NBA, I learned is that a top player, the one thing you want to always have him do is defend. So if you look all the way throughout the whole playoffs this season, you see time after time, you know, the Suns is trying to get Luka to defend, and somebody else trying to get, they try to get Chris Paul to defend, or Booker and all these other guys. You look throughout, everywhere. You're trying to get, Boston's trying to get Tatum and Brown to defend, and that's what you try to do. You're trying to make sure that you get him moving, active. So now when he comes down that offensive end, he's kind of spin a little bit, especially for a guy that's missed some time. So I think it was an effort for them to try to get him going, get him trying to be active, draw some fouls, and at the same time wear him down for the offensive end. And I don't think there's anybody. Maybe you got Bam and then maybe Jimmy. I don't think there's anybody else that can pretty much put that kind of pressure on Joel, where he has to really sit down and strap up and play some defense the way he does when he's defending those two guys.
I'd say, he was doing a good job too when he was just letting him. I just give him the three. I just don't, especially at Butler's, the amount of effort and the pressure on him to initiate, especially now without Lowry, but to initiate the offense and control the entire tempo for them. I just don't think, especially late in games, he's not going to have that juice to hit those long threes. He's 25% in the series. And he hasn't. I don't think he had a very good year period shooting statistically in 3-pointer. So if I was Embiid, man, just give him that space. But
yeah, you be a second jumper. I'd say be a second jumper, but you got to contest it.
Yeah. And Embiid's so long, he can give him.
You got to contest it. You can give him some space, and
then get out and make it.
With a second jumper. But it does come to a point if how many does he make before you make a change? I guess that's up to Doc and his defense and decisions, but you do have to come out there and give him a contest, but you just got to make sure that he doesn't get in that paint and he doesn't get around you and get us in foul trouble or get hit or get Joel in foul trouble, and then all of a sudden they start kicking out for those threes, which we know that when they can get hot, especially at home.
They need to call some of those travels too, because Jimmy's dragging that pivot for like none other on a couple of them.
That could be a universal call though. So
yeah, that's true.
Let's kind of give on that.
A couple of those up and unders he was getting Joel on. He was that foot was.
We gotta be careful when we actually
dragging like a sideline catch.
Last question on this. So Lowry's not playing tonight. And I've seen some Sixer fans who are kind of upset by it because they say the first two games they were without Lowry and they actually looked pretty good offensively without Lowry. Do you think this impacts them negatively or positively tonight, Eric?
He is hobbling. I wouldn't necessarily say it's negative. I would just say that we were home and we played better. I think they've shown that they're better team at home, so we just have to go down there and and get a game. We knew coming into the series we have to win a game on the road. So we still got a chance to do that. Hopefully let's get it done in game 5.
Yeah, hopefully. And I think I believe it's the only series so far. It is the only series so far that both home teams won all their games. Every other team split.
2-game win streaks each.
Yep. So it's bound to happen. So hopefully that happens tonight.
Phoenix and is the Phoenix and the Mavericks like that?
I think it went 1-1. Maybe.
I thought it went 1-1.
No, Mavericks won both games at home.
I think you're right. You're right.
I had to think about it. Yeah, they did.
I could have seen.
When they won the first game, and then because Chris had the turnovers.
That's right.
The next game, Chris fouled out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so one of 2 series that have happened so far. Okay. So, but hopefully, in both series, a road team's got to win at some point, or a team's got to win on the road at some point.
Yes.
Better hope.
Yeah. Seriously. Okay. So moving on to the next topic, and I feel like this is a topic that everyone's kind of beat to a dead horse on this one. But as some of us expected, Woj reported that Jokic will be indeed winning his back-to-back MVP this year. So now that we know the outcome, that Embiid did not get the award, my question to you guys is: Do you agree with Jokic getting the award over Embiid? Also, kind of another question to that: do you think this is good timing for a pissed-off Embiid as we head into Game 5 tonight?
Well, I mean, I would hope that he's pissed off because we got a chance to win a championship. I mean, we're still playing. So I would think that that's the motivation more than anything outside of an individual award. But I think that, yes, I think it could help us in the fact that, he want to go out and show that he deserved it. But I think that's his approach every game. So I don't think that's going to necessarily juice him up because I think he believes he was the MVP and he believes he can help us win a championship. So that's all the motivation he needs. As far as Jokic winning, it doesn't surprise me that he was picked. I just think I just think it's the criteria for voting and vote is just scarred. Like you just don't know. It's no criteria. It's no vote this way. Like it's just I don't even know who votes. Like I just think that it's just interesting. Like 1 year winning matters. The next year winning doesn't matter. But the one thing I can say is usually when guys win it back to back like this, you never hear from them again. So those same voters never vote for him again.
He got his, not get him out of here.
He got his, so because LeBron or Giannis and those guys winning back to back and still have great years, and people just be like, no, they're not the MVP. Well, why not? They're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And teams are winning. They're doing the same thing. So I just find it very interesting that when they do that, you guys get those same stats. Then all of a sudden, now they're not the MVP anymore. If you felt that way about him, then why do you not still feel the same way about him?
Especially next year. Imagine if Denver has like a top 3 seed.
And they're going to be better next year. They're going to be better.
How are you not going to vote for him?
His numbers are going to be similar. So why not vote for him again? Like, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's just like the spur of the moment thing. Like I just have no, like, what are they voting like analytics? Like, I get analytics. I totally do. But some of it got to be about winning. Some of it got to be about impact on your team.
Playoffs.
They made the playoffs, but I'm just saying, like, I've had people tell me, well, he played without 2 starters. Well, we played without 1 too. Mm-hmm. That happens to be an all-star for the majority of the season.
And the drama surrounding it.
Yeah, so
it wasn't just a guy out; it was a guy creating problems within our team.
So we had that same issue, and you guys say, "Well, Denver had 2 starters, but one of the starters y'all badmouthed."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you badmouthed the one starter now since he's not playing. That he's so great. Like, come on, man, you can't have it. It's just people seem to, just like in almost everything else, whoever they like or whoever they want they develop the narrative to be able to defend that. And that's what it comes down to. And to me, that's not a criteria. That's being able to develop a narrative to fit however you feel and not truly looking at, the impact of the game and the impact that people have on their team and their dominance in the league.
Yeah. I think we also need to vote on the voters. Like who decides on the voters? Whose decision is that?
I'm just saying. I have no idea who votes.
I don't know. And who like, do you just get a random anonymous call from a guy in a parking lot going, "All right, be here by this time. You're now a vote."
To me, I think just like
you decide that.
We used to always. I can remember when one of my teams and we wanted to have a vote on something, and.
Okay.
And Coach Brown was like, well, we can have 2 votes and we'll see if the votes are the same. And he said it to me. He said, the first vote we can have is private. And then the second vote we'll have in front of the team. But most likely, you don't want to do that because it ends up being different.
Yeah,
and that's what I think these votes are. They want the players to do all this stuff on live TV and the All-Star game vote for their players on live. Let everybody else stand by your vote. Stand by your vote on national TV. All these people get all these votes.
A lot of them
you have some people that say who they vote for, but I think everybody should be able to do it. So if you getting this vote, let everybody know who you're voting for. I don't think that'll necessarily, change anything, but it will make people have to address it. And then if they have to address it, they may tend to think differently.
I also think social media plays such a large part because you have guys with verified check marks on Twitter who get all these retweets and all these likes from these cool Jokic stats all the time. Like, He did this tonight. First guy in the last 16 years to do this after a back-to-back playing in Denver. It's like, all right, cool. Like,
that's the part that this is my biggest issue with people that give all these numbers about Jokic. All these numbers. Because when Russell and James was doing that, you killed them.
Mm-hmm. But are they winning?
You killed them.
But are they winning?
And James won.
Yeah, he got pretty far. He got further.
Yes, he won. He won.
Yeah.
He had one of the top 3 teams in the West every year.
It's so bad that now they're asking him to do it, what they criticized him for again.
Yes.
He's not even shooting 20 shots anymore. Yes. What happened to James?
Because he's not doing that same thing they criticize him. That they criticize. So that's my same thing. Like I tell people all the time, like I'll it's something very interesting that people, and this is my way of showing you guys, it's an eyeball test matters. You got Steph Curry, you got Russell Westbrook, you got James Harden, all played around the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you poll most people, the majority would say Steph Curry is the better player, correct?
Yes.
Had the better career, correct?
Yep.
If you go look at the NBA stats, James and Russell has more points, rebounds, and assists.
Oh, yeah. James in his time, his stats are like
has more
out of this world.
They have more points than Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me the eyeball test don't matter.
Yeah.
You just got to put him on the team with, 3 other
I'm just saying you can't tell me the eyeball test don't matter then.
Yeah.
Because if people that kids is going to grow up and not see them play are going to look at those stats. That's what they're going to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to see that across the board, they got more.
Yeah. And Embiid.
So you can't tell me the eyeball don't matter then.
But Embiid has all of that. He's got the wins. He's got the eyeball. He's got stats. He's got stats up the ass. That's what's like. He's got them all. He's likable.
Yes. That's why it's kind of puzzling to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's weird.
But it's more puzzling to us as Philly, as Sixer fans, than other people.
I even think Simmons should have won
I talked to a lot of
last
people.
year.
I talked to a lot of people that don't cheer for us. And a lot of them are like, I think he should win, but I don't think he will. I have people that tell me Giannis should have won it in front of both of them. So I've kind of seen it. I see it differently from different perspectives. I get it from different perspectives. I'm just saying, I just don't like when people just say, throw these stats out here and try to make it seem like the eyeball test don't matter. That's why I gave the example that I gave, because that right there to me confirms that the eyeball test matters. And I think it should be like that every time. But at the end of the day, just like everything else, put your name on it. You vote however you vote. Let's put some names on these votes.
Yeah.
And then we can know that. So now when you get to talking and doing all this talking and posting all this stuff, we can know how you really feel.
Yeah.
It's become such a clout war, though, because you have these guys who have been, on the Jokic train for like 2 years now. So come hell or high water, they're voting him. Like, that's their guy. I
have no issue, and I have no issue with that. I have no issue with people voting for him. I think he's a heck of a player.
Absolutely.
He's an MVP caliber player every year. All I'm saying is,
I think it's an emotional vote, though. I think that's too emotional.
I think it's just people look at him and they like what he do because of what they believe. The way they see the game, out of the lens that they look out of the game is how they vote. So they see him in that way because they look and they like, from a analytics or stats standpoint, I see his dominance. But I'm saying, yes, I understand analytics very well, but I also watch the game and I see impact. I see dominance, and people can get. I've seen people get numbers and not dominate.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So to me, that matters. That matters. LeBron James got numbers, but he dominated.
Yeah, it's too personal for some. Like Bill Simmons said.
Giannis gets numbers, but he dominates.
They were talking about Rookie of the Year votes. Bill Simmons had that famous F Jalen Green quote. And it was like, man, you're a voter, dude. You shouldn't be saying F anybody. What do you mean F somebody? Like, well, you're not just some fan.
You've made it personal.
Yeah, you're not some fan off the street because you don't like him now. You're not going to vote
but
for him.
You think that don't matter? That's all through these voters.
Oh, of course.
Who they don't like and who they do like. Personally.
You know how many of these guys didn't like the process publicly? That didn't like the whole thing that Sixers did? A lot of them didn't like it.
I mean, and I don't even think this is a process. I think Joel is just good. This ain't about no process.
100%, but a lot of them tie that together. It's like, I don't want to give any validation to that entire thing they did because I spoke bad about it publicly for so long.
He's the only guy left from that.
That's the thing, though, because if you say, "Oh, he got his MVP," it's now validated. Process worked,
and I think the opposite. I don't think the process is worked at all. I think they could accomplish the same thing trying to win because other teams have.
Yeah.
It depends on who you drafted.
You get lucky. Oh, look at Maxey. We weren't doing process at that point.
Like,
21st pick overall, we got him. That's lucky, though.
Other teams have done the same thing by their draft picks.
Yeah.
Phoenix Suns, their starters, they got 3 starters they drafted, 2 free agents.
Golden State.
All their draft picks.
Memphis.
Their 4 best players are all their draft picks.
Memphis.
So it's been done. So I think that was my only issue with the process. I think it could have been done while you still tried to win.
Yeah.
But we did get James Harden by trading someone we got through the process. So even though they're not the same players, they're assets we collected through the process.
But we gave up 3 players for James.
They did. Yep. They did.
So it comes to a point where everybody can't be from the process.
Yeah. Tobias too was technically traded for guys that we had through the process. But
Tobias was traded for who?
We had process players in that, right? We gave
Covington was in that trade, right?
Covington.
No, Covington was the
Butler trade. He was a collection of picks and gosh, man, who else was involved in that? Was that the Saric one?
No, Sarge was also in the Butler one, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
No, the Tobias one was what's his name? The guard from Wichita State. Yep.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
anyway, I just think it's way too personal for people. You can hear it in their voices. You can hear their voices when they do our games. You can tell who's just a fan of us or not. It's so easy. But all these guys have votes.
No, I just think it's just don't like Philly. Just don't like him.
Yeah.
Just don't think that's just that's not out there. That is out there. They just don't like him. They just don't like Philly. They just don't like him. And like I said, it's the lens that they watch the game out of.
Mm-hmm.
So how they feel about the game and how they look at it will help them determine who they feel is the most valuable. So if a guy is stat watching the majority of the game and he can look and he don't really see the game, he see a guy doing some stuff and he's 7 foot tall and oh my goodness, look what he can do out there at 7 foot. Then you look at the box score, you're like, wow, look what he had this. And this is the first time someone's ever had these numbers. They had nothing to do with winning. That didn't even matter.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So some of the things that we say Joel brings to the table don't matter to them. But they got to vote. So that's what I'm saying. But they got to vote. So who's these voters? Put your name on it. Have a better criteria. Vote in person. Vote live. Then all of a sudden you'll see people like, yo, man, he don't need no vote. Why does I think you gotta, just like the All-Star game, they changed the voting for a reason.
Players need to vote, dude. I think players need to vote.
I just think you need a mixture of votes, and the percentage of those votes come just like the All-Star game. And people still got mad when Wiggins made the All-Star game.
I was one of them.
I'm just saying, but it happened. But they changed it for that reason, because the more a guy that was, Yao Ming was getting more votes than Shaq, and we all know he wasn't a better player.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, Penny was playing 8 games a season. He was getting in the
So it was. So they changed it because they felt like you needed to kind of some more voices other than the fans.
Mm-hmm. I just think players know who players know. Players do know. Players know, and they'll tell the truth too. But
players got narratives too.
They have friends. They
got narratives as well. They don't like a guy. So it can get personal with players as well. That's why I'm saying you got to have a mixture of it. I'm not saying the people that are voting shouldn't vote. I'm just saying you got to have a mixture.
Yeah, I agree.
Voting. Just like not maybe it's similar to the All-Star game, but I'm saying a mixture of voting like the All-Star game does.
Yeah.
But that's across the board. That's for all voting.
And then you have the playoffs in there and you make me a happy man.
Yeah, the playoffs is, it's not going to happen, man. Everything's not equal in the playoffs. Everybody's not playing the same amount of games. That's why
I know.
If the stats are different.
But let me ask you, though, if playoffs were considered, Embiid, I think, would be voted MVP.
You better be careful because Giannis could be.
Yeah, but we saw our team without Embiid and we collapsed like a house of cards. So we saw.
And we also see Giannis scoring 30 points a game.
True, but Embiid
without Middleton.
I'm just saying, so you got to be careful. I'm just saying, I don't think it'll be a lock. I think from our perspective, because we're fans of the Sixers and fans of Joel,
right?
But I'm talking about nationally.
It would be those two, though.
I think nationally it would be a lot tougher.
It would be those two, then Jokic, though, right? Which I agree with too. Look, I think that should be that way. We saw players elevate, one without Middleton, their second best player. He did exactly what everyone said Jokic did all year. Yeah. And then you saw one guy not play for 2 games and his team collapse. So those 2 guys should elevate over Jokic, and the playoffs kind of.
I mean, I get your point. I totally do, but people are not going to put so much emphasis on 4 or 5 games over the season.
Yeah. And if you guys were listening during the Friday telecast, JJ Redick, who was the person who actually had that argument about they need to involve the playoffs, he actually reiterated again on the telecast saying, torn ligament and the orbital fracture. I think this guy should be the MVP. But I will say, though, forget about the playoffs aspect. They need to give out this award right when the regular season ends. The fact that it strings along, so we're 3 weeks into the playoffs right now, and we haven't even given the award out yet. It's a report from when Woj. It's not an actual, like, it's not even, it hasn't been announced yet. We're 3 weeks into the playoffs right now. If we're gonna give it out 3 weeks in the playoffs, let's include the playoffs. But it's a regular season award. Let's get it out right when the 82 games are done. I think it'll avoid a lot of this kind of contention that a lot of people have, because would have been over this by now.
It's never been the issue. It's only been the issue when so many people have voices.
Yeah.
So it was never an issue. You may have a perspective when somebody wanted over Jordan or somebody wanted there's not, but it was never this many opinions about it. Yeah. In previous years, I think this year is because it was so tight. I think you have, 3 people that were fighting for it, but people complained when Steve Nash won. That was huge.
Oh yeah, he got brought up yesterday and today.
Yeah, those were huge complaints. And my issue with that is
he'll burn Shaq up.
My issue with that is when Steve won, they put it all about winning.
Yeah,
they put it all about winning. That was the defense of Steve winning. They won.
It got him his trophy.
Now that doesn't matter.
Yeah. We'll see. And, with what you said, Eric, Jokic, we may never hear from him again as far as the MVP award, because he got 2, and that might be done. It might enhance Embiid's chances next year. It'll be him, Luka, and Booker, the next 3 guys who haven't gotten an award yet, who the NBA is really pushing. So
it'll be tough to do Luka if he's in the top again. That might be the same argument as I think the people that love Jokic from analytics, those same people love Luka too.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
Luke is actually someone. If he had a playoff push, his horse would be catching up to the other 3.
My belief is if Jokic was your MVP, then why not Luka? His team was better.
Yeah,
his numbers are comparable or better,
and they made a midseason trade.
And I think he's a little more dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do I know though?
Yeah, we'll see. And the other thing is too, we don't really know the votes yet. So I was Ramona Shelburne on ESPN was saying, she goes, we talked about Embiid possibly, so close with Jokic. She goes, he might even be 3rd on the ballots. We don't even know yet. He might even be 3rd.
Remember, I told you guys that the three different players, you never know how the voting was going to go.
Yeah.
How many 3rd place or 4th place votes people were getting, that's still going to determine. I think if he's not in 2nd place and it's not close, that's going to be another issue.
Yeah. And then I'll be a topic on the show when that does come out.
Yep.
But all right, fellas, we're going to go to the final segment here. It's game predictions for tonight at Miami. So the question is, are we going to go down 2-3 or we go up 3-2 headed back to Philly? We're currently a 3-point underdog, which when line first opened up, we were a 3.5-point underdog, but right now it's 3 points. And who do you guys have and why in game 5 tonight?
Well, you know me, I picked 6, so I have to say we're going to win. So I have us winning, tight one, but we'll pull it out in the 4th quarter. We'll make some buckets, hit some timing threes, get to the free throw line. A good deal in the 4th quarter, knock them down, and we show we were one of the top free throw shooting teams like we were. And we'll get this victory. We'll outplay them down at home, and they will miss Kyle Lowry not playing today.
David?
So a lot of Heat fans said that their problems from last game where Lowry played injured slowed them down. They need Duncan Robinson's minutes and shooting. They won't shoot that poorly again, and we won't shoot that well again. I think a couple of those will change. I think Duncan will play more. I think he'll hit shots, but he'll also be a defensive liability. I think not having Lowry will help them because it'll give Gabe Vincent a full role again, not just coming in for 2-minute spurts trying to fill in. I think he plays better when he's got a more defined role. But I don't think we'll shoot that poorly as we did in game 1 and 2 again. I think we have more of a rhythm now. We have Embiid. That's a big difference from games 1 and 2. I think we win tonight. I think the spread's 2 now?
It was plus 3. It was 3 before we got on the show.
Okay, so I think we win. I think we pull it out. I think it's a close game. I think it's in single digits, mid, like I think we win by like 4 or 5. I think we pull it out.
Yeah, I have to agree with both you guys. I think it's going to be in 6, like Eric said. I think we win tonight, and I think everyone thinks this whole.
I don't think 6 though.
You think we win in 7? You think we?
I think we win this game. I think we lose in Philly because we get complacent. I think we go back to Miami, have to win that in 7.
Gosh, I hope not.
He's just sticking with his vote.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, I didn't think it would end up like this, believe me. But I think it's funny. I think it'll go from everyone winning at home to the next 2 road teams win. I think that's just how it shakes out.
Yeah. Do you guys think Harden has a repeat performance of what he did on Sunday, or as we go back to what we know Harden as since he's been with Philly, like 20 and 9 or 21 and 9 kind of game?
Yeah, I don't think he has. I don't think that's a road game for him. I think that's a home game.
Okay.
I think that he's consistent. He makes shots, shoots a good percentage, but I don't see a 30-point game.
I'm going to say 19 and 11 from Harden.
And that's solid. That for us, that's solid. But the Stephen A's of the world want to see 35 in order for Harden to be great. So
yeah, they want 35 on 30 shots and us lose by 10 is what they want.
So they can complain about his 30 shots taking. It's unreal. They keep moving the goalposts with the guy.
Exactly.
Unreal. All right, fellas, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to Bleav In 76ers, presented by BetOnline. We'll see you guys on Friday, and hopefully by that point, so we have game 6 on Thursday. So hopefully it's a closeout, or we're going to a game 7, worst case. So hopefully it's one of those 2. So we'll see you guys Friday.
All right, thank
you, guys.
Take it easy.